Students, and welcome to virtual math class. So I know that there's been some confusion already about the assignment that I posted today and kind of just some overall confusion about graphing systems of equations. So remember whenever we were in person last, we talked about how many solutions a systems of equation has. So that if two lines cross once, that has one solution. If it is two lines, but they are the same line, they would have infinite solutions or infinitely many solutions because they would share every point that's on that line. And then if they never crossed, if they are parallel lines, which means they would have the same slope, they would never cross, in which case it would have no solution. And then for our explanation, you can simply write that parallel lines never cross, because the solution to the systems is where the lines cross. So, number 2, how many times do these two lines cross? They cross once, so how many solutions do they have? One solution. Okay, so on these ones, I think is where the confusion starts to come in. So, I just said that the solution is where the two lines cross. So I look at where the two lines cross, and I can actually, whenever it's just the two lines, I can click on where they cross, and it tells me right there. My ordered pair is 0, 1. And how do I get 0, 1? I didn't move any from my x-axis. So any on my x-axis, I moved 0, but then I went up once. So that means my solution would be 0, 1. Check my work. Is it not giving us thumbs up? Yikes. Okay. It should be 0, 1 though. So next one, I again look at where the two lines cross. So they cross right here. So that means I went over from my origin, I went over 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I went up 1, 2, 3. So my ordered pair would be 4, 3. Check my work. Hopefully you have a thumbs up. If not, I did something wrong, but let's hope that you just have a thumbs up there. Okay, next one. Our first line is graphed for us, which means that we have to graph the second line. So our second line is y equals negative 3 over 2x plus 2. Remember that our y-intercept is that plus or minus number, the number that's not with x. So here I have plus 2. So from my origin, I go up 1, 2 on my y-axis to graph my y-intercept of 2. I put my point there. Now my slope is negative 3 over 2. So if it's negative, we can go down my top number. So I go down 1, 2, 3, and then I go over 1, 2. I put my point there. Now I still don't have the exact point where they're going to cross at, so I do it again. So I go down 1, 2, 3, and then I go over 1, 2. Right here, I already have where they're going to cross. So I'm just going to go a step further, go ahead and put my line through the points, and then I can see exactly where these two lines cross at. So I went to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I went down 1, 2, 3, 4. So my x-coordinate would be positive 4, and then whenever I go down, that would be negative 4. So my solution would be 4, negative 4. Next one, number 6. So again, we already have one line that's graphed for us, so I just have to graph the line y equals negative x plus 1. What is my y-intercept? 1. So I go up 1 and put my first point. Now my slope, if it's a negative x, that means my slope is going to be negative 1, which means if I go down 1, I go to the right once. And then I can keep doing that, down 1 to the right once, down 1 to the right once. And I can really do that as many times as I want, but really, I already see where they're going to cross at, so I can go ahead and make my line. Now, after I have my line, I can see that from my origin, because remember we always started our origin, I went over 1, 2, 3, so that's going to be a positive 3 because I went to the right, and then I went down 1, 2. So my answer should be 3, and then negative 2 because I went down 2. Check your work. Hopefully you have a nice little check mark there. Next problem. So on this one, we have to graph our first equation, and then the second equation is already graphed for us. So the second equation is y equals negative 3. If it's y equals negative 3, that's just a horizontal line that goes through negative 3. So now I have to graph y equals 3 over 2x plus 3. So I'm going to start at 3 on my y-axis. I put my point there. Now my slope is 3 over 2. I told you that if it's positive, you would go up 1, 2, 3, and then to the right 1, 2. But as you can see, me going up is not going to tell me where my lines cross at. So that means I need to go down. But if you go down and it's positive, you need to go to the left because, two negatives make positive. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, and then over to the left 1, 2. I still don't have where they cross, so I'm going to do it again. I go down 1, 2, 3, and then I go left 1, 2. Now I can see where they cross, but if I want to keep going, I would again 1, 2, 3, and then over 1, 2. Now I can make my line so I can better see the picture. So now I can see exactly where they cross at. I see the point, so I went left 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I went to the left, is that going to be positive or negative? That's going to be a -4, and then I went down 1, 2, 3. And so if I go down, is that positive or negative? Negative. So my answer should be -4, -3. And for our last problem, I'm graphing both lines. So this is where things get a little tricky. So I have y equals -3 over 2x plus 1. So I start at 1, graph my first point, and then I have a -3 over 2. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, and then to the right 1, 2. And then I can do that as many times as I want. Down 1, 2, 3, to the left 1, 2. Or I could have went up and to the left, like I said, because 2 negatives make a positive. So up 1, 2, 3, and then to the left 1, 2. So there's 4 points. That should be enough. If not, we can always go back and graph more. And then my second one is y equals 1/2 x minus 3. So I start at -3, which means I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, put my first point at -3 on my y-axis. And then my slope is 1 over 2. It's positive, so I can go up 1 and then to the right 2, put a point, up 1, and then to the right 2, put a point, up 1, and to the right 2. And I could keep doing that as many times as I wanted. I can draw my line. And now I can clearly see where those two lines cross. So from 0, my origin, I went over to the right 1, 2. So that's going to be a +2. And then I went down 1, 2. So is that going to be +2 or -2? -2 because I went down. And like I said, hopefully you guys are getting the check marks on your end or the thumbs up for if you get it correct or not. Hopefully it's just on my end where that's mistake is being made. So I literally just went through every single problem together with you for your homework assignment today, which means I expect everyone to have all of these answers correct. If you still don't understand it, please reach out to me for help and I will gladly explain it a little further, but hopefully us doing it together, even though we're virtual, hopefully that will help you kind of have a better understanding of what we're doing on these. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the rest of your snow day. Make sure you get all your work done, and I will hopefully see you guys in person soon.